I hope Colorado does well this year. I hope Colorado does well. I hope Coach Prime crushes it. I hope his son is a Heisman candidate. Like, they have some talent.
I don't at all. I don't at all. You will create the biggest monster in the world.
Oh my God!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we bring in the drama, and we bring the drama to your mama, but we wouldn't bring it up if it wasn't important. Now, you guys that know me, longtime fan of Coach Prime, though I will admit, disclaimer, I don't agree with everything that he does. One thing we preach on this channel, whether it's you guys bashing me in the comment section or praising me, whatever it may be, we're big on freedom of speech around here, okay? And I'll be honest with you, man, this podcast I'm bringing on, man, his name's Rudy. He's from the Come On Now, the podcast, and all his links are going to be down below, but he's not a Coach Prime fan at all. So today's topic is going to take and be, what will humble Coach Prime? Rudy, my man, thanks for coming on the show here today. Obviously, you and I, we were talking off the phone. We talked for a while, man. We basically had a podcast session on the phone. And, man, with what happened, how he was coming at the Denver press and silencing certain people, you have some thoughts on that, man. Let the people know what your heartbeat is on this issue, man, with Coach Prime and how he handles himself.
Well, thank you, Doug, for having me on. I greatly appreciate it. As you know, we are a growing channel ourselves. We just started 7 months ago, so things are coming along. We just crossed 2,500 subscribers. So thank you for having me on here to help promote us as well. So we're greatly appreciative. Yes. Deion Sanders is nothing will humble Deion Sanders. I think at this point of his life, he's like nearly 60 years old. I don't think there's anything that will humble him. That's the problem with him. Nothing will change how he behaves, how he acts, how he treats people. He is a politician. He utilizes religion to con people, and that's my problem. I mean, I was born and raised in the Catholic Church. I was an altar boy, but I'm not going to sit here and get on a podium and preach. And he preaches. And I cannot stand preaching when you don't live by what you preach. Like, practice what you preach. Yeah. He says, well, I don't cuss. Well, you also dog people out publicly. Yeah. You have players that you've dogged out publicly. Yeah. How is that Christian in nature? Yeah. It's like we're supposed to ignore the history of Deion Sanders. Like, let's not act like Deion Sanders in his 20s wasn't a complete and utter POS. Let's not act like he didn't drive his car off of a cliff and tried to kill himself. And that's horrible and scary at the same time. But he did do that because of all the demons that he has. So now he flips it around. And maybe I sound like a complete a-hole, but be who you are. Don't fake it for me. Don't fake it. You treated people like trash. You treat your players publicly like trash. Beginning of the season last year, he didn't care about penalties. This is just an example for people, because I'm sure there'll be plenty of people calling me a racist pig on your comments, because Deion Sanders fans, that's the only way they know how to attack is you're racist. No, I mean, my podcast is me and two black dudes. And my kids are black. My wife is black, just like your wife is black. Like, I'm in a black fraternity, bro. Like, so we can kill that noise. Yeah. Deion Sanders, he has a son who beat the crap out of a security guard while he was in high school. Yeah. Guy's permanently injured. His son files bankruptcy as a millionaire to avoid paying a judgment. What kind of person that, you're so Christian? Have you made amends with that man? No. You don't care about that guy. You're fake. Beginning of the year, get all the penalties you want. We're going to celebrate. Bro, this isn't University of Miami or Florida State Seminoles 1980s, early 90s. Commit 150-yard penalties a game, you can overcome it. So by week 5 or 6, when they started getting their butts kicked, after they got rid of their powder puff part of the schedule and started playing real teams and getting smashed, what happened? He started dogging his players. He starts dogging his offensive line. Starts dogging his defense. Starts saying, we can't commit penalties. Deion, you put the culture in and said no problem with penalties. And now you want to sit here and run it back? See, that's fraud. You're fake. You're fake. He's not accountable. He's not accountable for anything. This is the same guy when he was at Jackson State. He's not leaving Jackson State. Sure. If you didn't know that he was leaving Jackson State, I live on the beach and I got sand to sell to you from the beach. We can go to the beach. I'll sell you the sand because that guy was always leaving Jackson State. Jackson State was always a jump off spot for him. One that he didn't deserve. See, we forget all this. We forget all these components.
Yeah.
His experience in coaching is high school football.
Yeah.
So he skips all the assistant coaching jobs in college football. He skips being a graduate assistant. I know guys that are coaches in college football, started as graduate assistants.
Yeah.
Worked for
equipment managers.
Look at Eric Spoelstra, the coach of the Miami Heat, was a videographer, video coordinator.
Yeah.
People earn their way up. Not Deion. Deion skips the line for everything because he's Deion. Master marketer.
Yeah.
Master mouth. Can sell anything. Credit to him. You can sell it all, bro.
Yeah.
But you don't sell the truth.
Yeah. One thing I want, no, you bring up a lot of good points, man. And thank you for that, man. I was saying this year for a lot of people, if they're on the edge about Deion, whether he's a good coach, because some people are not sure yet. They're like, Harry, he inherited this. Hey, 4 wins is better than 0 wins, what they had the year before. That will be the pushback in the comment section. However,
let me stop you.
Oh yeah,
was that the 1-11 team that won 4 games?
No,
he cut 65 players.
Yeah. He cut a lot of people. He's bringing his own luggage.
He cut the whole team. Well, most of his luggage was garbage. He gave you he didn't. That's not the 1-11 team.
Yeah.
They went 4-8 with a group of mercenaries.
Yeah.
And when it came down to playing real teams, they got their asses kicked.
Oh yeah, yeah. Very undisciplined. Lots of penalties. O-line was basically a middle school team. I mean, it was brutal. It was brutal. For a lot of people, I was to say, for a lot of people out there, this year is going to answer a lot of questions if Coach Prime is meant to coach on this level. Let me explain why. All right, he brings in all these people, cuts them again. You know what I mean? Like it's really been a messy season, right? And in just a second, we're going to talk about Cormani McClain and how very unhumbling that was. But there were times last year. There were times where I was very put off by Coach Prime. I'm gonna be honest. I was very put off. I was like, man, this is why is he acting this way? He's encouraging foolish behavior, cocky behavior that's biting them in the butt. But then there were times where it's like, hey, well, man, I don't want to just thank God for when it's good. I want to thank God for the losses too, because there's lessons. And so I was like, wow, okay, well, maybe he's starting to become a little more humble. And so, again, topic of today's episode, what will humble Coach Prime? To me, it will be another bad season. I think another bad season is what will humble Coach Prime. That's what I think, hopefully. And obviously, I hope they do well. I want all these young men to win, but obviously, there can only be so many winners in college football, right? But, man, what is your prediction for the Colorado Buffaloes this year, man? What's your prediction? I have them going 6 wins and probably making a bowl game, a lower end bowl game. What do you got, man?
I think they're a 4-8 team all over again. I think at best they're 6-6 at best.
Yeah.
And that's only because the Big 12 sucks. The Big 12 is a trash can conference, yet they're picked to finish second to last in the conference. They're like, he can get on a press conference and tell you how and mess and belittle media members and say, well, what's bolstered? What's chemistry? What's this? And be a condescending a-hole like he always is, and be disrespectful and say, I'm not answering questions for CBS. The fact of the matter is, we will not know what the hell Colorado has until they play North Dakota State. And they better not sleep on North Dakota State, because North Dakota State is still a Division I AA powerhouse. I don't even know. Is it FBS? I don't even know what they call it. Division I AA. FCS.
Something like that, yeah.
I don't even know which one it is.
They're FB. Oh, sorry, FCS.
FCS.
Yeah.
So division, but I grew up Division I AA. North Dakota State is a monster program. They're a winning program. If that game was at North Dakota State, I will tell you right now, North Dakota State would beat them by 2 touchdowns. But it's at Colorado, so another gift for Deion. He gets all the easier games on his home field, and they still managed. I mean, hell, they lost to Stanford last year. Christ, they were up with 3-4 touchdowns in that game and lost.
Yeah.
And Stanford was horrible, but
no, they sucked. Dude.
They sucked. They were terrible. And yet there's always a new excuse. It's always something. Yeah. It's never him. He's never the reason. That's my problem with Deion. Deion is not an accountable person. Everyone else should be accountable except for Deion Sanders and his minions. His minions who worship him and will suck him off at any given moment. And whatever he says, he's infallible. they will listen to that crap. And they will, I mean, there are guys that have made YouTube channels specifically to kiss Deion Sanders' ass. It's unreal. I've seen them. It's crazy. Can you imagine making a channel just to blow someone off all the time? That's nuts. Now people might say I don't do that for Caitlin Clark, but she's actually good. Good. And my channel wasn't built on Caitlin Clark. Our channel is built on sports. We talk all sports. We have a section for MMA, combat sports. Caitlin Clark and WNBA just happen to be the thing right now. It's summertime. People don't like to watch. I love baseball. If people watch my baseball stuff, I talk baseball all day. I love baseball. But end of the day, they're a 4-8 team again, man. Maybe if they go 6-6, I think that's it's a winning season for him. But again, he cut 50 guys again. And like a year ago, some of those guys transferred him and they were dogs. And then they leave and then they don't want to compete. Compete in Colorado?
Yeah.
Like, I'm a Hurricane fan, bro. And I despise listening to stupid Hurricanes fans say, well, he doesn't want to compete. He's leaving. He's going to Georgia.
Yeah.
He's going to Bama. You think he doesn't want to compete? He's going to a much better program. How do you come up with he doesn't want to compete? That's laughable and stupid. And so I hear Canes fans do that crap all the time. I heard coaches for Colorado say that about some of those running backs. Like, they left because you don't hand the ball off.
Yeah.
And as bad as that offensive line was, they never got a chance to freaking run block because the entire offense is based on making Shador Sanders look like a savior and look like a great player. He's not.
After week 2,
he's a decent quarterback.
Yeah. After week 2, I didn't see hardly. I was like, oh, Dylan Edwards. Hey, he has some good stats. A lot of those were passes that he caught, Yeah. But I mean, now he's transferred. I mean, he's at another school now or in the transfer portal.
He's at another school. He's another school. He's at a better school. I don't know where. Let me see. Let me check where he's at.
Yeah.
Because I'm curious to know where he went. I know he went to did he go to Baylor? I'm not sure.
I think it might have been Baylor.
No, he's at Kansas State, bro. Kansas State is way better than Colorado. Come on.
Yeah. When I also talked earlier, we talked about Cormani McClain. Now, obviously, this is older news. Cormani McClain is now Florida Gators. And hey, he may actually be a head case. An issue that I had with Coach Prime, a major issue, man, was having the online spat and the back and forth that was super public. There's a term out there, and for those who don't know, it's called kingmaker. As whether you're a coach, you're a teacher, maybe your father, maybe you're someone's uncle, maybe you're a shift manager at Burger King. Anybody could be a kingmaker. It's females who can be kingmakers, but usually it's men. And with kingmaker, Deion is in a position to create other people who are empowered, right? You can build someone up, you could tear someone down. You could build someone up with giving them constructive feedback, say, hey, man, you're just not good enough to start right now. However, and then that's where the constructive feedback and where you build up, you become a kingmaker. I hate how he brought down that young man. And again, Cormani McClain is still a kid. This is like a 19 or 20. He's still like a young man. Like, why are you doing that in the public eye? I hated it, man. Like, dude, like, and listen, no coach is perfect. All right. And I hope Colorado does well this year. I hope Colorado does well. I hope Coach Prime crushes it. I hope his son is a Heisman candidate. Like, they have some talent.
I don't at all. I don't at all. And you will create the biggest monster in the world.
Yeah.
If they were to be really good.
Yeah.
As if the man's ego isn't large enough. You may hope you're nicer than me. I will never hope. And people will call me a hater for it. I don't care. I don't think you reward people that I don't consider good people with success. He's been rewarded with success being a not the greatest person for most of his life. And people will say, you're wrong. Ask his ex-wife. Ask his daughter, who he embarrassed publicly when she transferred. He embarrassed her publicly. Wow, she left in large part because of him. Wow. She was miserable. But Deion has gone out of his way to say, parents don't follow their kids. Great. You know what? Kids pave their own way. Yeah. He didn't want to be there. She wasted a year of her life sitting a bench. Yeah. He didn't go to any of her games. He didn't go to her games. He's
play volleyball, right?
Basketball.
Okay.
I don't even care if she didn't see the floor. He didn't go to her games. Like, this is known. It's your daughter.
Yeah.
Football's not going on during basketball in January and February and March. Let's not act like Deion is on the road recruiting. His coaches are doing that. He's the closer. He's the person that closes the deal. He's not on the road like they are. You can't watch your daughter sit on the bench to play basketball.
Yeah.
I mean, he embarrassed her. This guy has. You mentioned Cormani McClain.
Mm-hmm.
I hope I cut you off. I apologize. But
oh no, you good. You good.
Cormani
No.
McClain.
Yeah.
Cormani McClain. I know people who know of him, like know his history.
Okay.
I'm in South Florida. For folks that don't know, I'm in South Florida. Cormani McClain played at Lakeland High School as a senior. The year before, he was at Lake Gibson. That's a rival of Lakeland. Can you imagine transferring your senior year to your rival school? They went to the state semis, dude. Like, why would you leave your boys to go transfer somewhere? First of all, the transfer stuff in high schools makes me sick because it's destroyed rivalries. Rivalries do not exist anymore because these kids will be at, for example, I don't know how familiar you are with Miami football, Miami Northwestern, and then they'll transfer to Miami Central. Miami Northwestern, Miami Central wanted to kill each other when I was in my 20s, when I covered high school sports.
So he has no loyalty, it sounds like.
There's none. But that's what I'm saying. There's no loyalty in college. Loyalty in high schools is gone. You got guys that will transfer from rival to rival because they just want to win. Because they don't. It's like the whole thing with the NBA now. It's all play together. Like there's no competitive fire in these people to want to actually beat that guy. Like if you were at if you were at Miami Northwestern in 2008, right? They were the best team in the country. 2007. That was Ja'Cory Harrison crew. They all went to Miami in 08. But in 07 was the season, 15-0.
Yeah.
They nearly lost to Deerfield Beach in the state semifinals. Denard Robinson, who was the quarterback at Deerfield Beach, went to play played Jacksonville, went to Michigan.
Yeah.
Denard Robinson was winning that. They were a yard from ending Northwestern's perfect season. A yard. I was in the end zone right behind the play. If Denard Robinson takes the right gap, the game is over. Deerfield wins. It was 4th down. It was 14-12. It's going to be 21-12 with 2 minutes left. Game done. 1 yard line. Ja'Cory Harris takes these guys 99 yards. They win the game 19-14. It was the most unbelievable thing I'd seen in high school football at that time. Because first of all, the stakes, it's the state championship. Northwestern ended up being the national champion that year, the mythical stuff, you know? Because back then they didn't play that massive national schedule. They played one team, which was South Lake Carroll, who'd won like 49 straight games out of Texas, and they'd been like a 3-time national champion, or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, like, Cormani McClain transfers from Lake Gibson, who's in the state semis, to Lakeland. He wins the state championship at Lakeland. Go look at that kid's Instagram when he's a senior. It shows you. It shows you the problems, okay? You can see it. Like, really, we got 17-year-olds wearing Gucci. We got 17-year-olds in Louis Vuitton. I mean, if it's real or if it's fake, I don't know. But you have him, like, his mouth. I had people that I know say he's a shitbird. That I know who are up in the Lakeland area. He's a shitbird. His own high school coach talked about him. You know how bad you gotta be to have your high school coach, once you're gone, say negative stuff about you. It's so rare to see that. They never do that. So in this situation, Deion was right. See, folks, I'm objective. Deion was right. The way he handled it was like a freaking 15-year-old boy, like a child. He leaves, let him leave. This whole thing about I got to give a speech and I got to talk down about him and I got to.
And then his son, don't forget his sons were getting in on that too.
They were. It's embarrassing. Like you're like what? And the thing is, his sons don't have any rules. His sons and Travis Hunter have no rules. Everyone else has rules, mind you. Travis Hunter's a good dude. Like you can see how down he got married or he got married. He's 21 years old. Like,
owns a home.
He's a good dude. You can see he's down to earth. You can see it. I don't know if you ever saw there was a video clip when Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders went to a Lakers game, and Travis Hunter met LeBron. He was giddy like he was 12 years old, bro.
I saw that.
Shedeur looked like the biggest flipping douchebag on earth.
Oh
like, what's new? This is what I do. Like Travis is like, oh my god, which was great to see. But that's the like the way he went about this Cormani. Now Cormani McClain and his mother did not help themselves. Their stupid social media videos, not a good idea.
Yeah.
You talk crap about a coach. It doesn't matter if it's Dion. It doesn't rub coaches the right way because they think, well, I might be next if I bring this kid in.
Yeah.
Why do I want to go through that? So he doesn't help himself. Dion was right, but this is where I'll go with that.
Yeah.
What is your job? Your job is to coach. Your job is to mentor. Your job is to develop. Dion doesn't know how to develop. Dion gets, it's like, I'm mad, so you're gone.
Yeah.
Like, that was a kid that you had an opportunity to develop, to mold, to mentor, to get him through his problems, because the kid's got problems.
Yeah.
And he's already had problems at Florida, reportedly. So your job, you could have made that kid. I don't know if it would have worked, but he doesn't even try. Like, if they don't work out in a year, bye. You're gone. 50 more guys gone. Let's bring 50 new ones in. And we're going to tell the world that they're all monsters and they're all dogs and all that crap.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm sorry. A 6'1" defensive lineman who's a fifth-year senior.
Yeah.
Really? If he's a dog, he's in the NFL draft.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's real. That's real. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is our topic today. What will humble Coach Prime? Rudy, man, you said it yourself. Pretty much nothing, man. This is who this guy is.
I don't think anything will. Like, you think losing will?
Yeah.
You think why do you think losing would humble that guy? I'm curious. Why do you think losing would humble him? Because it's never humbled him when he didn't humble him with the Atlanta Falcons.
I feel it would humble him because he'd have to look in the mirror, because you can't blame anybody else now but your darn self. Pretty much.
He would.
You may have a point. You may be right. You may be right.
I don't know. I don't think there's anything that would ever get that guy to say it's my fault publicly. Maybe he might do it privately, but I don't think that man would ever get on a mic and blame and take blame and ownership for losing.
Bring it back to Coach Norvell from Colorado State. And by the way, Coach Norvell has a pretty solid program. There's some good players. Holker's on the Saints. There were a few other guys that got picked up.
He blew that game last
I agree. No, I agree. But as far as like character, man, this is a guy. He's a player's coach, man. I wouldn't be surprised he's an older guy, so who knows? But I wouldn't be surprised if he one day gets a position coach in the NFL. Like, he is really, really loved, and people really adore him. And I follow quite a few guys on social media who play for that program, and they really like him a lot. Right. What I disliked is they use something he said in the media as fuel, because he's Coach Norvell, Mike Norvell, I believe his name is.
No, it's Jay Norvell. Mike Norvell's FSU.
Oh, yes. Okay. Thank you, brother. Thank you. My bad. So he made a comment about wearing glasses, and and my mom.
I made that same comment. It's disrespectful. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, and I agree. It is disrespectful. But like, man, here's the thing. They blew it up, and it's like, man, you disrespected my mama.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the game, Coach Norvell was like a super stand up. Hey, man, went to shake their hand.
You heard him.
And Shador looked like he was about to punch that dude.
That's the one he threw the watch in his face on.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. He did
his face.
Man, I didn't.
And then Dion said, "Oh, you know what you said. You know what you said." Like, what are you, 5?
You would have thought he put a hit on his family. Now, if it was something like that, I'm like, oh yeah, we're about to get real serious. But ain't gonna be no watch in the face. It's gonna be just off the field.
Bro, I said in my video, and people can go back and look at it, and I got like 100,000 views on it, and I got a whole bunch of people saying, "You talking about hitting a kid?" No, I'm talking about hitting a douchebag, because he's not a kid. He's 22 years old. Stop acting like he's 22-year-old. He's a 22-year-old rolling in a Rolls Royce. I don't want to hear about Shador being a kid. He's not been a kid for quite some time. He's a paid professional athlete. These guys are professional athletes now. They're not college kids. They're not amateur athletes. They're paid pros. He's making like $4 million or more a year on NIL money. He's rolling around in a Phantom. Like, get the freaking hell out of here. This is not a child. He's an adult. And if he wants to act like an adult, brother, you're going to get treated like an adult, because Jay Norvell, if not for potentially losing his job, if that happened in the street, he'd have been knocked on his ass, and he would have been pounded out by Jay Norvell. 60 years old and all at the time, he'd have beat Shador down. And you know what Dion would have done? Nothing, because Dion can barely move his ass himself at this point in his life. And the fact is, when you sit here and say your mama didn't raise you right, guess what? We know that because Deion's told us his mama didn't raise him right. She never showed up at any of his games. She didn't care about his. He said these things. Yeah. No one ever came to my games. Really? Yeah. Don't sit here and tell me your mama was working every single Friday night for the duration of your high school career from 7 p.m. till 7 a.m. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. You cannot convince me of that. I will never believe it because I know when high school games are played, you do too. They're usually Friday nights at 7:30 p.m. You're not going to tell me that you have a superstar athlete for a son and you never watch him play. Bull crap. I call BS on that. And then he calls her. He's got DJs in the locker room, and then they get beat by 30. Like it's a comedy, bro. The whole thing is a freaking circus. And for any serious athlete, nobody wants to be a part of that garbage. Like they'll do it for a year because they think it's gonna be cool. And they're like, man, this is a shit show. I can't be a part of this. I'm never gonna go anywhere. This guy doesn't get people better. He's just a face for a screen. Colorado made a desperation hire. The man failed at Jackson State. Yes, people, he failed. He lost to teams that were far less talented than his in the Celebration Bowl twice. All right. He recruited nothing but Division I athletes. He stole D1 guys. Good for him. Brought him to Division I AA. They're playing Division I AA level talent, and they're beating them down in the regular season. But when it got to the biggest game of the year, they choked their tails off twice. Why? Because he's a trash can of a coach. Because he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't understand situations. It's clear as freaking day watching. He's so in over his head. All those steps that he skipped because he's Deion, he's never learned to be a coach. So he can't. The only thing he can coach is corners, and the one corner he's given, he's trying to make a flipping wide receiver out of. Like, if you care so much about these kids, Travis Hunter should never see the offensive side of the ball. Yeah. Never. He's a cornerback. He's not an NFL wideout. He's a corner. Let that kid, he's a number one pick. He could be a top 5 pick at corner. Why are you playing this kid at wide receiver, playing 140 snaps a game? Are you out of your mind? But this is Deion. Deion doesn't care. Deion, and I know I'm rambling. I could do this all day long. We could do this for 3 hours, dude. This guy doesn't care about these kids. He says he does. He cares about wins. That's all he cares about. Because if he cared about the players, the kids, and development and growth, he would be there to coach them, nurture them, mentor them, and help them improve. He would not be sitting here saying after game 1, do you believe now? No, man. I didn't believe then because TCU sucked. Yeah. They sucked. And you beat CSU. CSU stunk. Nebraska, when they played them, Matt Rule had just gotten there. They stunk. Yeah. If they played when they played Nebraska,
brand new program that he's taking over.
It's a different team this year. And I'm telling you right now, you're sitting here and you talk about how you care about these kids so much. You wouldn't be cutting 50 players.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, comment below. Let us know how this interview made you feel. We'll see y'all next time on the Touchdown with Doug Smith. Hit that like, hit the bell for the alerts. And again, before you even subscribe to my channel, go in the description. Check out Come On Now, the podcast. Thank me later. Peace.
Come on now.
Thank you for watching another episode of the Touchdown with Doug Smith, where we have exclusive NFL content and exclusive NFL interviews. Be sure to hit that like and that subscribe button. Follow us on social media. See you on the next one.